wat die optie bestaat om dat te switchen. Die oplader. Ze raakt die naar buiten. Ja, perfect. En nog een dicht komt. Ja, dat is goed. Oh, is dat goed? De voorstelling is al momenteel minuten zijn. Everybody in dit presentatie is wel ja. Ga je iets anders open doen? Dan kun je dat achter doen. Maar ja, zo scrollen of? Weet je hoe dat fullscreen dingen zit? Ja, dat is en trek gewoon te wat voor dan gaat het. Zijn ze er altijd? Wacht, ik keer aan het les kijken.
Ik weet niet veel van de
Nou, nee, dat is niet. Dus die nee, dat Niels.
Nee, ja, je woont niet in de stad, jongen, je zit gewoon in de buurt.
Weet je het doel hebben? Dus ik zou nog eten. Maar dat doen we. Ja, is dat zwaar? Is dat zwaar? Doe je niet? Ah ja, ja.
Oh, ja.
Ik heb in de vaste nu al zo dik. Ah, hoe is het zo ook weer iets? Dat is zo. Die altijd in presentatie. Dat kan ook niet op screen. Ja, natuurlijk niet. Juist. En gewoon bedenkt, gewoon view. Stop wat er is. Dat is waar. Ja, maar wij moeten het eigenlijk maar dan moet dat natuurlijk bij. Ze deden daar veel met die beste. Oké, maar ik kan wel nog die man in de presentatie. Is er iemand ook zelf al een beetje zijn testen? Nee. Nee, dat had feedback. Nee. Dat is rechts, kun je lezen op je binnen? Ja, dat is dan. Nee. Ja, oké, opnieuw.
Bonita sind Sarah and Jimmy and Bas Mobos is er niet eens toen geweest of is dat toen minder geweest? Bas daarom.
Ah, maar de beeldjes is dit. Maar die beeldjes is dit. De beeldjes. Wat was het?
Jimmy Beerdi. Ja. Ja, ik ben er op een paar plaatsen.
Heel lang gedaan. Als ik hier sta, krijg je toch nooit die schermte. Zelfs als deze. Maar ja, anders moet je echt een plaat gaan vinden. Of in deze scherm staat er in. En dan heb je al ook. Ja, dat is niet wireless. Daarom. Dat is ook niet makkelijk. Dan kan het wel mee die zetten. Als ik wel moet slepen wijzen, dat is gewoon dit.
Yes, I know my
Ik moet staan. Ja, dat is nu aan de deur. Nee, voilà. Ik zou het doen. Dat is beter, denk ik. Oké, voor de rest even gaan kutten.
Leaning to the left, then your face is just out of the video.
I can go up to here.
Yeah, that's the house. Yeah, first.
You can move the board if you want, then people will not.
I think the first team is BitNet, so the guys from BitNet should already come forward so that they can start. Who's BitNet? Yeah, but it's, okay. That's that. Are you the only one? Okay. I'm tired.
He can hold my hand if he wants to.
Oh yeah, okay.
If he thinks I'm...
What? Okay, so for the people standing outside, there's still there's still chairs.
You're already live.
I'm just sitting here because I can.
It must be trending by now, I guess.
More quickly backstage. Yeah.
3 viewers. I'm getting more nervous now.
There's a chair over there. And probably upstairs as well, and there's also a chair.
Do we have something to take?
There's one.
I can't be
So. So yeah, it's a small space, but it's gonna work. Welcome everyone. Today we're a mix of freelance coaches, summer of code students, partners, and people from TRAKK. So we have a very good mix of people who are here. Other than that, I don't know. You can see it. There are 3 people on the internet also watching what we're doing right now. So welcome people. Well, welcome people. Sorry. We have 6 teams that are going to present their applications for 6 viewers. Okay. We have 6 teams that will present their application for 10 minutes long, and we're going to start with BeepNets, presented by Ruben. So Ruben, go ahead and tell us what BeepNet is.
Thank you. Well, hello everybody. Today I would like to present to you BeepNet. Give kids their new favorite book. First, let me present you to our team. Our team consists of 5 students and 1 coach called Doreen, Michael, Miguel, Ruben, Sean, and Wesley. We are all part of Team BeepNet, and we have the following partners, being BeepNet itself. They provide us with the API and all of that we need to make a fabulous project, of course. We are making it the first place for the Beep of Ghent, so yeah. But first, there's this situation. First, let me tell you about the story. There's this girl called Amy, and she really likes butterflies. She's like crazy about it and stuff. So she's sitting at home with her iPad, and she's searching like pictures of butterflies and information and stuff. Maybe her brother is searching something else like elephants or stuff. But what they don't know is that there's a library at the end of the street with super cool books about butterflies, with nice paintings, cool stories, but they will never get it because they don't know that the book is there. So they will just keep on working on their iPad. So what do we want to do? Instead of bringing them to there, we want to bring the book to their iPad. How are we going to do this? During the hackathon, we created this Tinder-like app where we want to, instead of suggesting covers and descriptions and a lot of words to children, get to know them better by, of course, here's Bibler, our little guy. He will represent different sceneries, and the children can choose whether or not they like it. So by this way, by swiping yes or no, we will get to learn them even better than, well, just giving them a lot of information they won't like. So they just swipe different sceneries to the left or right, and we will get to know them better. Based upon their character and the atmosphere they like and how they are as a person, we can suggest them books that are available in the library, and they can, well, see which books that are suitable for their interests. We created this recommend page where we have the books, a nice detail view where children can, well, depends on how old they are, but can see some pictures or read about the book. Okay. So this was our solution. For the future, we see some expansions. For example, we can expand to other groups. For example, well, elder people, they are sitting at home, they don't go to the library, they don't know about the books. So maybe we can get to them as well, using the same, well, way of approaching them and getting to know their interests. talking about these interests, well, we can use the existing users. For example, the library, well, people that go to the library often, we can know what type of books they like. This way we can even, well, better get to know them and suggest them more accurate books they will like. Or maybe even some experimental books that they can, within their book likes. Also, maybe for the future, it would be cool if we can just integrate some ebooks. For example, like the kids, they want to know something about butterflies, and they will just swipe and we will give them books that are interesting for them. So wouldn't it be cool that after the swiping and the recommendation, we can already show the book on their iPad? So this is what we see for the future. I would like to thank you, and if you have questions, I will be happy to answer them to you.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? It doesn't have to be the party specifically. It can be students, it can be people from TRAKK, it can be other partners. Feel free to ask them some questions about their application.
Does this work right now? Or is it just wireframe?
Well, we have wireframes. We have a kind of working application, which isn't live, but if you are interested, we can show it to you after the presentation right ahead.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
So you said that we are going to get them know better, right?
Yeah.
We're going to
using the character Bitlo, he will be in different sceneries. He will be dressed as a wizard or riding a Tyrannosaurus.
Right. And based on that, you're going to refer to certain books from a certain category.
Yeah.
So you're going to make like a profile, right? Are you going to use like existing
or you can see it as a mood as well.
Yeah. So are you using known algorithms for this, or like known libraries that do this type of like easy profiling tools, or are you going to write really simple, trivial things?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We will think hard about which pictures we will present them, because each picture will be linked to the text that are available on the books, that are available in the API. So if they like dragons, we will know that they are into adventure and dragons, and maybe knights and princesses, if they are boys or girls, whatever. Right? So we can link them to the books they like. And in the case that we use existing users, we can even get to know them better. And well, sometimes just instead of giving them the most straightforward and cliche book, we can give them something new, something nice, maybe something the library people would suggest to people. We can use it as well in our algorithm. So the algorithm is something that, well, will have to be built on experience.
Right, but you're going to use, existing recommendation libraries, right? Or are you?
Well, there's a lot of tagging and genres and categories inside the API, so we can start from that point on.
Yeah.
But we can.
I would suggest you look up recommendation libraries, because basically it's just a way of configuring that recommendation.
But if we use these libraries, then we will get to the more cliche books as well.
Sure, but then you can choose whether or not to use a recommended book, or just use 1 in 5. You're going to throw something out there. That's something to think about.
So in the product that you're going to show us on the 31st of July, would it also be possible as an admin, as somebody who works at the library, to curate the choice of books that you represent to the kids? For example, I'm just guessing here, but I think certain teachers, for example, have a list of books that they want the class to read, and if they could curate that, but still give kids the opportunity to choose themselves between those books, or there's a week about media literacy and you have a few educational books, would it also be possible to curate it?
There's two things about it, because you say if there's a week, then we might just as well give them an illustration about Bitlo in the theme of the week. On the other hand, we can easily slip in some books that are forced. So we can, on a random base or on a percentual base, we can give them some books that we really want them to read.
Okay, that's
How
good.
do you know what's in the books? For example, if there is somebody's looking for Philip II's everything, and there's a small chapter in a certain book about it, but it's not in the title. It's not in the. Is it tagged or?
Yeah, that's a good question. The API has a lot of tagging. There's tags, there's user tags, there's categories, there's genres, and we can even look up the description. We can search for certain words in the description, but as seen in the mockup, we will use illustration about our main character. He will be a wizard, swim, and stuff. So we have to choose them wisely. So there won't be a thing where he is dressed as Phillips II, of course, but more like knights or history. And it's kids, so I don't think Phillips II is accurate to them. But he's interesting, of course.
Okay, any other questions? The final remark? Otherwise, we'll go to the next team. Nobody? Okay, thank you, David. The next team is Team Edico. Your speaker can come forward.
Looks like.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Team Edico. Our team consists of Bruce, Thomas, who is in public, and me, I'm Bert. Edico is an online calendar which was created during OSOC 14 previous year, and we will refine it this year. Now, why are we doing this? Contrary to what some people might believe, we are not doing this for the money, but instead, there are some issues with currently used agendas. There is a paper agenda for schools, but it's on paper. So when the school says, this is our agenda, that's it, and they can't update it. The only way they can communicate about a new event is to hand out letters, which can and will get lost. The other option are complicated platforms, like Smart School, for example, which contain a calendar. However, it's complicated, it requires a login, and if your mother isn't that techy, she won't know how to use it. So, together with City of Ghent and Lichpolis, we are creating Edico. It's an existing application, very easy to use. It doesn't require a login for parents. However, there are some issues for schools, for example. It's not easy for them to manage. There are some things that aren't clear, things that need to be improved. So mostly the user experience needs an update.
Yes, which is what I'm going to stand right here because of that. So what we're aiming towards is designing a product that is made for grandmothers so that they can use it, and a few very grandfather as well. The reason why we want to keep it simple, we want to keep it really user-friendly. So we started designing, and we made a few doodles and some professional prototyping in Paint, obviously, which resulted in a new UX design. And I'm going to go through it real quickly. So first of all, there's an improved navigation. In the first version of Edico, you can only search by just a regular calendar, groups, and classes. Right now, you can choose between multiple calendars. So there's a school calendar, a calendar's filtered by year and also by class, which makes it really easy to search and go really in depth when you need to. Secondly, the typography has been completely overhauled to give it a more clean look and have a nice overall aesthetic. Then secondly, it's extremely accessible and has a nice overview of the entire month, week, day, or in a list view. And you might see it's not really that clear on the monitor, but it's color-coded and it's also coded with patterns, which means that it's also approved for people who are colorblind, so that they know what kind of event is going on. To explain it really briefly, it's just the 5th year, for example, it's very easy to navigate to the 5th year because it's right here. So we had the hackathon and we coded a little bit, at least the developers did, and we ended up with something that looks like this. So in only one day, we were able to make almost the entire page with the new feature that the previous edical didn't have, which is the double click to add an event, which is extremely useful. And in just one form, you can fill in an entire event and plan it and schedule it, and boom, done. So what's next for the future of Educal? Well, we're thinking of adding a few features, such as notifications via email, which means that parents could get an email if their kids need to be dropped at school or another event. A web view or PDF export for easy access. Rich data like Google Maps or people integration. For example, if you add an event, you can just add a location via Google Maps. Hosting, which basically means, for those who are not familiar with the term, Educal is going to host the website itself, so schools and parents don't have to worry about hosting, and many more. That is if we have the time. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, please let us know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, briefly, who has any questions about the Educal project?
Okay.
I have a question. Who are the end users of the Educal application?
So the end users are actually the schools, so the principals and teachers, which is why, I'm going to go back real quickly. The design is made for them. This is, for example, the view for a teacher. The only thing that they need to do is add events to different years or classes, and parents won't even see this entire interface. They will only see the calendar. So the users of this product are just the teachers.
Parents can integrate with the calendar next to their other calendars.
Excuse me?
Can parents integrate or link the calendar?
Yeah, they can export, for example, an iCalendar format or something and import it to their mobile devices.
The feature is already available right now, so.
Yeah, maybe I misunderstood, but he said it's super easy. The parents don't even have to log in. While there was a screenshot where there was like literally log off. So
yeah, this is for the school, for teachers, so yeah, they need to log in.
yeah, but
obviously. But for parents, it's really only the calendar without any hassle.
But on one of the previous ones for the parents, there was log off, so they need to log in. Yeah, or not?
No,
On the
Maybe
previous
it was
version of
screenshot
Educal.
only,
Perfect.
Okay, any other questions?
Can the parents select the class view?
so
Yes.
They just
yeah.
get the view?
In the web view, in the web view, normally they're going to get a URL with the right class, but we're going to try to make a web view that allows parents who have multiple children, for example, to select a few classes or a few years. We're going to try to make that.
Have you also thought about, because I'm seeing 1 to 6, you also have like grades that are sometimes divided, so A, B,
Yes,
is that also being?
Yes. So it's the way that we are building it is just based on so the entire school divided into different years, and we go up to 8 years, and then in all those years you got all the classes. So it's just a drop down navigation.
Is one direction communication, or can, for example, parents say, I will attend this or that events, and to respond to that, or is it just giving information from the parents?
In the first place, the assignment that we got was just one-way communication, but that's one of the features that we are thinking of implementing. If it's possible, we don't know, but it's one of the things we want to do, like an RSVP kind of button.
Final question? No? Okay, thank you very much, Educal. And next up is GTFS. Okay, we're gonna let them speak. Hey guys in the back. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. This is Brett and I'm Tim. Together, we are developing the backend for the open data products of GTRFS. This is made possible by iRail, Mobile, and Open Server Code. Basically, what we want to do is we want to create an open data platform for the NMBS. But what's the current problem? Basically, if you want to like make a route, for example, I'm a traveler and I want to go from Brussels to Namur. I don't know I don't know how to plan that route except if I know the website of the NMBS. Like if I know the website of the NMBS, I can just use the route plan and it's not a problem. But like if I'm maybe a tourist or a foreigner, it can be quite difficult because they have to know the website of the public transportation. So that's one of the first things. And most people just like, for example, will use Google Maps and search like from Brussels to Namur, and they will see like in this example, there is no trains. Like there is no train data available from the NMBS towards Google.
So how do you solve this problem? A few years ago, Google made a reference, a specification, how this public transport data has to be structured. And that's what you're making from the NMBS. It's called GTFS, General Transit Feed Specification. That is only the static part. That means like the trains drive in Utopia, there's no delay, everything drives on time. And then you have the real-time part also. It's like an extra layer. So people can get updates if there is an accident or something like that. Our mission was already started with the GTFS project. I made the basic stuff, but then I want to improve it by adding the calendars. So when a specific train is driving in the week, and then worked on how the GTFS real-time workflow has to be made. So this is an example of the website of the NMBS. And what I've actually been scraping is what you can see here. It's a text string of a specific train when it's driving. So the problem is all these trains have a little bit different use cases. So for example, ECA 123 drives from 15 December until 6 January, from Monday to Wednesday, and also on Friday. So all these parts I had to scrape and put structure in it because it's just I have to parse everything out of it. And like L123 train drives every week, as you can see. And there are also exceptions and really complicated things to scrape, but I'm working on it, and this is what I've done in the hackathon to scrape these trains. My future task is to make the calendar dates. That's when there are exceptions. For example, when there's a national holiday, the train doesn't drive. So all these exceptions in the normal info I have to search for, and also generate the stop times and the trips data from the NMBS.
Well, basically this is all good as long as the trains are running on time. Well, what if there's a camel on the train railway, or what if there's a dead cat? It could be a possibility. So how would you know that? Basically, you have to have the real-time data. Basically, like if somebody is just like looking on the website, they're planning their trip, everything is okay. They all see they're planning everything. They know which stops are coming. They know at which station they're going to be at which time. But if the camel is on the train railroad, it can be a problem. Like, how do they get notified of that? Basically, we have to provide real-time data, and this is how it's going to be. Like, for example, I just used the route from Austin to Eupen, and what are we all collecting about this? We're collecting every route, like what is the originating station, what's the destination station, at which time does it arrive in Bruges, which time does it depart in Bruges. But this is all basically all the static data also. But the most important thing about this is that what if something goes wrong, especially with the train, like there's something broken, like here. You see, if you want to go to Eupen, you see in the Liège-Guillemets, there is a broken train, so it can deliver a delay too. So basically, we just use all of this data, and we'll describe it into a .protofile. Like here we have the GTFS real-time.proto file, and in that we will describe like what data are we going to need. Like it's a kind of a dictionary, and like which data types are we going to use, how many times it's going to end up in this. And by this proto file, we can generate models. These models will contain all the data later on, and all of this we will combine in a scraper class. Basically, what is a scraper class? We will scrape all the information. So, like for example, we will ask at any NMBS or IRL, we will ask information for the current train from Boston to Eupen. We will see, like for example, in this case, we will see the delay and what's the cause of this. So we will add this all this information into our models, and then we will export it to an open data feed. What are the future tasks for this? We need to generate those models. We need to scrape all the real-time information from IRL or NMBS, and we need to output everything in an open and standardized data form or feed. What are the possibilities of this? You have, for developers, it's easy access to the data. They can see all the routes, all the delays, and everything. We can basically create a real-time data and train map. Like we can see the train from Austin to Eupen. Like we can basically see on Google Maps, we can see the train drive. What is most important is that everything is outputted in an open and standardized data feed. Like basically, if in just a use case, Peter could have seen before he went to the station, he could already got a notification on his phone that the train was going to be delayed. So maybe he could have bought a sandwich or could have get some more coffee to drink on the train. Are there some questions for our project? Yeah.
How are you determine how much the data actually is? There's great information from the NMBS, but they don't provide an actual timestamp.
Yeah, we can scrape when it's normally driving plus 28 minutes, so we can write from that how much late has it been.
I'm a regular train user, and my experience is that you come to the station and they only start saying how much delay you will have once you're waiting there. So the interesting thing would be that you have like create a learning instrument. That you know, okay, this is the situation on the train. Even before the NMBS is saying there will be a delay, you already know because of some parameters that will be a delay. And you have given an indicative delay because when you're there in the railway station, it's the first 5 minutes, and then it's 20 minutes. And you think, you know, if there's a cat on the rails, cat problem, half an hour.
Yeah.
But they always start with 5 minutes. It's very interesting. So a learning instrument would be very interesting.
Yeah, it's possible if we have the data available, we can learn from it. But we only deliver data, so we don't make the apps for applications, only open data, and that's our job.
Okay.
But feel free to sponsor next year.
Yeah. Further questions? Final questions? Suggestions? Nobody?
Is most of the scraping done using regex?
Yeah, I use regex all the time.
For your final demonstrator, the 31st of July, what are you going to show? I can imagine that it's not going to be, look, here's data.
Yeah, I just generate CSV files, so it's not so fancy like the other apps.
But couldn't you make it more fancy, like actually set up a route planner on your local machine, which works through the entire Belgium, because you have a feed from the lane and UVB and TRAKK, and if you will have one from the NMBS, you will be able to do intermodal route planning through all these. But
I can make an API for it. I can make an API for it.
So can't you like have like an already existing application that all of a sudden now works with data of the NMBS as well?
I've been working together with Christophe, and he made for the lane and back buses an application, and he can easily adapt the GTFS tree. So when I've got the NMBS, he can just put it in his application, and it should work.
So maybe that's a nice demo then for the first.
Yeah.
When will Google start using your feed?
I don't know. We can contact them if we want to use it. Yeah, it's available for everybody.
That's actually the goal, and that's why I'm paying here. Google should do this.
Okay, thank you.
One more question with the end user. So you say people that are not familiar with apps of
The end users are the app developers, the community. So they can, startups can use it, app developers can use it. It's not, it's just random, well, not random, but data files. So,
for example, I'm using the app or the website Roam to Real, you know probably. Roam to Real, you don't know? So with websites, you have a start destination, end destination, and it gives 20 different possibilities to get there with the different modes of transport, some costs and the time schedules, and that gives all your information you need.
and those people need those files
Yeah.
to generate like this
So to improve their plans.
The good thing about GTFS is you can combine buses, trains, everything that has GTFS, combine it and all. It's one data format.
Okay. Well, even at that, thank you, Brecht and Tim. Okay, the next are, I'm going to check the layout team. Okay, William and Michiel, go ahead.
Hi, I'm William, it's Michiel, and we're building an application to visualize energy label data.
There are also Niels as a designer, Alana, Peter as backend developer, and our coach is Michael.
Okay. Our partner is Lidl, and Lidl consists of 12 communities which work together to sponsor big projects. Now, for instance, one of those projects, if you're buying a house and you want to use eco-labels as a guideline, so you would preferably go to the owner, check out the house, and they would tell you, oh, we have new insulation, the heating is very good, and the energy bill is low, and it might just give you an attest certificate of the energy label. But we found out that most of the owners tend to lie and just say that their home is a very good energy label. So we would like to avoid some nasty surprise, and there was a real need for some real representation. And because of our application, we present open data on a map so that users can use that data and check out for themselves if that house is what the owner said it is. So you wouldn't end up with a high electricity bill because there really is no connection to solar panels, so the roof isn't really built that way. There is insulation and all those things. So this is what we're building. This is a map, and as you can see, the colors represent the energy labels, going from very bad to very good. So for instance, if your house is a greenhouse, that means it's very modern, it has isolation, it is up to code, and all of those specific factors. And if it's red, of course, it isn't all of those things. This is a mock-up of what our application looks like or should look like. On our left side, we have some filters, with of course filters for energy labels, so you can see some good labels and bad labels on a map, some quality labels, the type of home, square feet, building there, and they will be displayed on a map. So we've added a search function, so you can navigate through the map, type in your home address, and find your specific home, or you can type in your province, like you can say Antwerp, and it will show you that Antwerp is average in that area, good buildings, and in that area, more bad buildings. We've also added two buttons, so an energy saving button and a simple FAQ. Now the energy saving button is quite important because it gives you tips to go from a red label to a green label. So how to improve your home. You can install installation, you can get a plumber, get better plumbing, and all those things. And this is a tool we found online to calculate your own energy label. As you can see, it is very complicated, it's really hard to use, and you wouldn't really go through all of those steps. So we have built a more playful and more graphic interface to practically build your own house. and get an energy label from that. So you can decide for yourself which one is best or the better one.
So yesterday at the hackathon, we made some mock-ups. We designed the flow of the application. Also, we worked with the Abyss API and getting to know it. There was also some work with an application that that determines your eco label, like that. And in the coming 2 weeks, we will progress upon these mock-ups. The dream would be, of course, to be the reference in Belgium for owners or buyers, so they don't run into any surprises like a bad eco label, or if the owner says it's a good one, but you find out when you buy it, it's a bad one. And that was our presentation. Are there any questions?
Anyone? So there's no existing open data yet? And
there is a service feature from the government of the Flemish government has a feature that's a layer that you can use, but it's not really that is not really implemented as well. So we have to use a proxy to access some of that data, but they will become open in the next year or so.
And what's the difference with the, I don't know if you heard about the APC values? When you buy a house, you get a card with installed energy presentation certificate.
I don't know. Our labels are thinking. I think
we are going to implement we're maybe going to implement those EPC values. Yeah. But those are standards set by the government. But the energy labels are more set by the Flemish region, and they put out that open data, but not the APC data.
Because they don't really have an open data representation of it. Yeah. So we're still working with just the eco labels, not with the certificates. That's a later stage of this project.
And the label, the project over afterwards?
I think so. They will work further with us.
Will the data on the map be all verified?
What do you mean?
If you calculate your letter ABC, is that not the value that will be displayed on the map?
The calculating is only to improve your label. So you get a basic value from those government open data, and then you can improve your label. So you can't set your label from 0 to 100. So that would be too easy.
You can change it down, or?
Yes, you can change it, but you have to go through a lot of questions. And after that, we put it into the database, but we can't give it yet to the Flemish government. So
at what point is the data that you put in verified?
By who? By the government, or
because I can fill in answers even if they are not true. Because I know the problem is that people lie.
Yeah.
Why would they not lie in your application?
Obviously, there would have to be a service that controls that. I'll check that out, but not really something that we should not.
We talked with the partner, and they said that it would be too much of a constraint to develop in 3 weeks. We just have to build this MVP sort, and then they will develop further on it. So.
Okay. Any other questions? How about your own data set that you built? Are you going to put that or put that in the open again?
The data set that we have to that we have to give it to them, so we don't really know what happens with it. But data is for open data, so yeah. I think that I will put it in the open.
Yeah. We should talk about that.
Yeah. Yes. Sure.
Okay. If that's it, then thank you, Michiel and William.
Okay, we're close enough way. I think the next one will be
Good job.
It's not there. Find it. Find it. Yeah, it's another one.
Sorry about it. This one? Yeah. Sorry about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello everyone, we are going to talk about a new homepage for Multimedia Lab. So this is the team that's working for the new homepage. The left side, first of all, is Chris. He's the front-end developer. He will be the one making the chassis. And these two, so me and Peter, are going to work for the backend. So Multimedia Lab is an organization that's making research for semantics. The problem is currently that they are not using semantics on their homepage because their website is from 2008 or older, so it's pretty prehistoric. Yeah.
So yeah, first problem they have is that the website is not responsive. So what that means is that here you have a representation of what it looks like on the mobile and here on a desktop or laptop or a computer. And you see that it's pretty much the same, except this one is just zoomed on. So making it responsive means that you can use it on every device you want, and it will adapt to your screen and to how you use your device. So if it's a touch screen, maybe have bigger buttons and easier access to certain menus. And if it's on a computer, then have a complete website with a complete page. So yeah, it's not how you build a website in 2015. The last update of the website dates back from 2010, I think. And internet moves way too fast to keep a website that is 5 years old and never updated anymore. So yeah, as you can see, most of the problems come when you try to use it on another device.
So because the web page is pretty old, it's not using any RDF tags. What are RDF tags? RDF tags are things, data that are represented towards the outside world. So let me give a simple example. If you make a Google search for opening hours on a web, you will most likely see the Google search results, the opening hours. So using RDF tags, it will be possible for Google to show it immediately on Google search. So besides showing on Google search results, because the RDF tags are not used, Google will also give much worse SEO rank. This means that it will be much more shown on Google results. And to make it better, we will be fixing on the next version for the page, which Tito will be talking about.
Yeah. Just so we are clear on the problem is, to put it in simpler words, imagine that the CEO of Tesla which has invented the greener and best car of the world right now, it was driving an old Hummer of, say, 1995 and polluting like crazy. It's not possible, it's not the way to do it. Multimedia Lab is working on some research and doesn't use what they have found and are just too old of a website to be used right now. So,
all right, so our solution to it, we'll make a new website, and how do we do it? Well, it's a bird. Is it a plane? Is it Megamendi? No, it's just Drupal. So we're going to redevelop the website using Drupal. Probably not anyone of you knows what Drupal is. But Drupal is a content management system, so the user can add content, edit content, play around with the website without even touching one bit of code. And fun fact about it, it's made in Belgium. You can easily extend it, so a developer can write his own modules. Or use existing modules. So there are a lot of modules for Drupal. Like you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can just take the existing modules or use some APIs, and then you can write your own stuff like Roger, do it yourself, because everything you do yourself, you probably do better.
So UX-wise, what we're going to do, we took a basic theme, which is Zen, which is the most basic theme you can find for Drupal, and made a basic mockup wireframe for MMLab. And during the hackathon, our main goal was basically first learning how to use Drupal, because we had neither of us had ever used it before. And the main goal for me as a front-end developer was to redo the header as I had used it in the wireframe. And for that, I had simple guidelines. So as some of you may know, the University of Ghent has a specific guideline for all its websites, which is you have to use specific colors for the faculties. The logo has to be put that way, and the bar has to be that size, and so on and so on. So we took the guidelines, and since the guidelines date back from 2008 and are gonna be changed like September next year, we tweaked a bit around the guidelines, tried to bend the rules a little, so that we could provide a basic appearance, a basic aesthetic that respects what Johannes has in mind, but still looks modern and not 2008-ish. And yeah, so as we said before, our goal is to have MMLab to run on any device you want and to be adapted to any screen you use. And that's the main goal every website should have today, and MMLab is no exception.
So yeah, as you probably already heard, we don't have had any Drupal skills before we started the project, so we had to learn a lot, just like Yoda says. But we've learned a lot on the way, so everything we wanted to do on the hackathon, except a few glitches, is working. Like the only thing that's not working is sometimes the connection between our module and existing modules, but it's just actually a small thing that really is going to be fixed, I think, tomorrow or even today. It's not such a bad work. So added value for MMLab, well, they will have a new website, they can add content, edit content, it will be semantic, so it will be good on Google SEO ranking, and it will be responsive. What is also good for Google SEO ranking, because websites who are not responsive are always punished by Google Ninja. So if there are any questions, just shoot or throw.
What kind of file formats do you support with content negotiation? JSON-LD or?
Now it's JSON-LD and Turtle, but the API we're using can give us
almost every format available. So
Nice.
I'm just doing this for. Any more questions?
Anyone? No? Everything clear? Okay, that's fine. Thank you, guys.
Should be the final.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah, you fixed
Okay, let's get this over with and get out of this hot room because these guys are already excited to talk about DCAT, and this is Team S. Go ahead, guys.
So we are Team DCAT or Team S. First, I have to explain a bit what DCAT is. But first, we have 3 sub-projects. We have a DCAT generation for the IPT. We have a Drupal DCAT module and a DCAT validator. It all comes from the Flemish government, but the DCAT generation for IPT comes from the INBO, Instituut voor Natuur- en Bosonderzoek. These 3 projects come together because they all support. We all should use DCAT for that. What is DCAT? DCAT is a data catalog vocabulary in the known version, and it's essentially just a set of terms to standardize metadata and over data sets. To explain this a little bit better, I have an example. So if you have if you are a researcher and you want to find data on the internet, normally you have to search manually for every data on the web. So you have to put in Google all keywords related to your research, and you have to find everything, have to go every website, look at the data. Is the data for me? Is it useful for me? So what DCAT defines is generalized metadata. So all data sets use the same metadata, so machines can do that work for you. In this example, I have the Beatles in Belgium, the Beatles in Netherlands, and just cat pictures are all data sets. So if you normally would search all these data sets and look at them, what they hold of data. Now, if we add DCAT info, a computer can easily find all these data sets and look at it, what's on it. So if you, for example, as a computer then give me all information of the Beatles, they will soon find the Beatles in Belgium and the Beatles in the Netherlands and not the cat pictures. That's about how DCAT essentially works. And now I'm going to give the word to Sylvain for the INBO project.
So the INBO project will speak about DCAT, and we reuse DCAT information because in the DCAT INBO we work with IPT. IPT is an integrated publishing toolkit. You work with datasets. You can publish your own dataset to the online. But as you can see, there is lots of information from INBO. INBO just post, for example, for the ladybirds. And we want to add DCAT information about all of this information. So there is an information and resource information about ladybird beetles in Belgium, and we want to extract the core information from this file and say, okay, this is the ladybird from Belgium. And so, if you want to research about ladybird, you have the DCAT file, and it's a more easy way to do it. So there is an example for just this. There is the datasets. We have 2 sorts of data in French: titre, metadataset, explication, regarde. everything is the same, but in a different way. So the computer don't understand really the correlation between the two files. And with the dcat file, you can say, oh, okay, it's the first one is the data set, the second the title. It's more easy way for computer to understand every resource on the net. So what we have already done during the hackathon, we have some data in XML file, and we have already subtract some information from it, the title, the data set, the catalog, the description. So we have already a little converter, but you need for the next things is to take every resource from the data and put it in a dcat file. So I think you can yes. With the Drupal project.
I am the one who works on the dcat Drupal module. The dcat Drupal module has the purpose to extract metadata such as title, description, or keywords from a content type that represent data. Now, a content type is basically a type of content in a web page, like, for example, blog posts or files. If someone owns a website with files and wants to share his data, the data sets, he will have to write all the description by himself, which is take quite a long time. But with the module now, he just have to install the module, and he will have all the descriptions of the data, standardized dcat descriptions of the data sets. So it's quite easy. I'm reusing an existing dcat module for Drupal and extend it with more functionalities and integrating keywords and languages. During the hackathon yesterday, I worked on the languages and keyword integration, but it's not finished yet. And for the future, I'm gonna still extend the module to improve everything and add more descriptions.
And for the final part of the project is the dcat validator, which I and Stan are working on. So our partner for the project is the Flemish government. They want to use the data from different portals, but the problem is that there is no standardized syntax yet, because they all write their syntax on their own, so it's all different. So it's hard to create this linked data. Basically, the problem is that so dcat describes the data sets. In order to describe these data sets, the syntax is used by multiple organizations. Because this syntax is different, nothing can be linked to each other. So everything needs to have the correct syntax. We have a solution for this, and that's the dcat validator, which basically lets you input a dcat file by uploading it, or insert a dcat feed by inserting the URL or URI, or by just manually inputting the code into a text area. When pushing validate, the dcat will be analyzed by the code, and it will return feedback which contains errors and warnings how to write correct dcat, how to write the correct dcat feed. Our accomplishments: during the hackathon, I have made with Bootstrap and jQuery the validator page with the 3 tabs. I'm still busy on creating the different languages for the dcat validator in English, Dutch, and French. Then my co-worker, he has used Node.js to create a library that will validate each field in the dcat feed with JavaScript and JSON. He has then prosified. What this means is simply using a library where all his JavaScript files will be put together in one file. And I then used this library to
output the right errors in the when the data feed is inserted. At the moment, I have been able to return the errors, but I still have to show them onto the data validator itself. For the future, we basically aim to make sure that everybody uses the correct syntax in data so that everything can be linked together. That way, people won't waste effort searching for the right syntax, which is not easy to find. And there will be no more confusion for the organizations that use it or that want to find data among other data. So this was our presentation. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions from you and your team?
So how far is the validator from actually being usable?
Well, we just fixed some errors, and I will start implementing the. Well, we have the errors, but you still have to show them to the user without like showing them in the console. Once that's done, that wouldn't be too hard actually. Once that's done, I will implement the languages so that it can give you to Dutch, French, and English, and then we will add extras like showing the line where the data where there's a mistake, so it's easier to find it. And by using jQuery, for example, to like slides something open for more information. So that's what we're aiming for.
Is the validator in JavaScript?
Yes, using Node.js, we have written a library. Stan has written a library that I use to send the data to the library. He will then.
Is the validator on the server?
No, there's no server.
I think that will.
It's good to be because it's Node.js, so you could also use the library on the server side. If you want, you can. Yes.
But it's
Sorry?
just JS.
It's Node.js.
Just the browser replies.
Yeah, it's usable in the browser as well, without any servers.
Okay.
Google it.
Okay. Any other questions, Peter?
I have a question about invoking. It was unclear to me what your current status was.
We have already identified, found it data directory, and we can extract every information from it. So we have a parser from VMFI, you can extract the titles and just need to translate everything on it in a TCAT file.
Okay.
So everyone can have lots of information from the resource file.
Yeah. Okay.
Will the end result be reusable for other governmental parties, like another institute or you have to be specific on the inbook case or the data?
No, it's everything is taken from the IPT, so publishing tools online for international groups. So we work for your goal is to add your own feature to the IPT. So everything we publish with the IPT can get a data feed, a data feed. I don't know if you.
So everything that uses their base software, which is called IPT, will also be usable. Will also be able to use their data.
IPT is specifically for biodiversity data. So that's IPT is.
IPT is tool from GBIF, the Global Biodiversity Network, let's say. And they built this tool for all the partners that use it to upload data to them. And everybody can download the data then from GBIF via web services. So what we did now is we made a fork of the IPT to implement the DCAT functionality. And when it's finished, we will push it to GBIF and they will validate and bring out the next version of IPT with this functionality.
Okay, final question.
How far are we from content management system that is purely based on linked data? Is it bringing us closer to that?
Maybe that's a question for futurists instead of a few developers. I think that were all the teams. Everybody pitched, right? I'm not getting anyone. Okay, so it's time to get out of the room. Hold on for just a minute. The partners that still want to talk with the teams about what they made and talk about adjustments, thoughts about what direction you were thinking about and they took anyway. I think most of the teams have their separate room where you can discuss with them about their different projects. But I suggest that we just take a 5-minute break to go to the kitchen first, get some water, get some coffee for everyone, to rehydrate, and then you can talk to your students about the projects. But thanks for listening, everyone, and good job.
Ik denk dat u meest gelijk nee.
Alleen anders. Oké.